K-Sac and Evans had a separate tournament this weekend. They ended up facing each other in the finals. Does that result make that 149 decision for you, or is it still some thinking to go?
Yeah, I think that, they both had 3 or 4 matches, which kind of helps their match count. Gives us a little bit of flexibility and takes a little bit of the urgency off of that decision. But obviously head-to-head and being in the same event plays a big role in where we'll go with it, yeah.
Can you kind of fill us in on what happened at the end of the Maryland match there?
Not much. I mean, it's just I think things kind of got a little blown out of proportion. But yeah, just heat of the moment, kind of whatever. Not really that big of a deal.
So it seemed to be a lot of, maybe it was just the competition too, a lot of aggression Sunday, a lot of falls. When you look at January, from Oregon State to Maryland, if you think you've progressed the way you've planned, the way you wanted to?
Yeah, I think you want to focus more on performance more so than winning and losing, right? So if you have the ability to get a fall and you want to get the fall, if winning by 2 points is your best effort, then that's great. Losing by 6 is your best effort, that's fine. So I think focus on performance is a higher standard, and that's kind of what we kind of think about more so than the winning and losing, because that's I think a key, obviously, in trending in the right direction and continuing to seek to improve. So I think our guys are doing that. I think if you have the chance to get a pin, you go get the pin. That's it's a team sport, and every point matters. Maybe not in a specific duel, but when you get to the nationals or the Big Ten tournament, every point matters.
Kind of building on that, you had a lot of different lineups due to illness and things like that this month. Do you wish you had some guys that maybe be getting more matches in, or are you comfortable with the maybe lower match total going into the end of the season?
We just don't think, overthink that. It is kind of what it is, and some guys, if you're sick, you're sick, and it's just part of life and sport, and being that we're a sport that spans the holiday break where everybody goes home and then everybody comes back together, and a lot of that sickness kind of moves through your program. So I think every program has the same is, and so it's really not that big of a deal. And I think our guys will have enough matches to. You just want to meet those the requirements by the NCAA just to kind of allocate spots for your conference. You got to, and then also putting yourself in the best position you can at the national tournament. But yeah, I think our guys would like to have more matches. I know Carter keeps talking about that. He wasn't real happy about not wrestling and missing 2 matches a couple weekends ago. But just we're moving on. It is what it is.
To that end, do you think you'll send any potential starters to any more opens coming up?
We don't really have a plan to do that. It doesn't necessarily make sense for us right now. I know we have kids that are trying to go compete, Edinburgh this weekend. It's hard as a program to get up there when we wrestle on a Friday night, have a late night match, and then an early morning weigh-in. That's part of our sport. But we're trying to kind of work through those things. But we'll definitely have some kids up there wrestling, yeah.
So I'm kind of going back into here. So you guys haven't decided on 49 yet, or you kind of used Sunday as a?
Yeah, I think this Sunday obviously was an important part of the process, but just saying now that they both have, they were able to pick up some more matches. We have a little bit more flexibility in timing. It's not something that we have to decide by Friday night. We could let it play out a week or two.
Is there a point where you alter your training cycle to prepare for the postseason, or do you pretty much keep the same regimen through the season?
Yeah, we're training for the postseason every week. We're the end's always in mind. But yeah, it's just a little different based on where we're at and all those little things. But yeah, I don't. That's kind of a long answer, kind of a deal. But I think we're pushing our guys. We want to make sure they're in good shape, and you can't wait until the end to do that. This is the time to do it. There's not really an ideal time. What's up, Greg? It's not like an ideal time to get tired and have your knees maybe shot going in a duel, but we're thinking about the end always.
Concerning the duel on this Friday in a
Yeah.
more week to week sense, what are you doing differently to prepare for like a rivalry game like that, getting the boys ready for that?
We prepare the same for every match. I mean, we don't really get too high or low, and don't put too much emphasis on one opponent over the other. Again, we're focusing on ourselves and just competing at our best. Naturally, those highs and lows occur based on the intensity and the matchups and different things. But yeah, this week's like every other week for us. We're excited to compete against a good team. There's a lot of great teams in the conference around the country, so but we'll just focus on being our best selves at this point.
Coach, Josh and Lucas also won at that open tournament. What impressed you about their performances from Sunday?
I think them just making the effort to go compete is good, and just getting matches is, you're here on the team. And we had some other guys that wanted to go wrestle, but we needed them and took them with us on the road. But yeah, the point of being on the team is going and getting matches, and that can be our best training or their best training, and just looking at competition as one of our most effective training tools. So from that standpoint, I think they had things in mind that they were trying to work on when they went to the tournament. I think they both were able to accomplish those things.
What's your process, Cael, for evaluating guys when they're wrestling at tournaments where you're not maybe in attendance or can't be? Are you relying on film or the kind of scouting report from whoever's out there with them? What's that process like for you?
Yeah, I don't think we have film on the tournament. We were obviously from last weekend, for example, but we were following it closely, and you can kind of see the points. I think we know our guys well enough that we have a pretty good idea of what they're scoring with and what they're not, and what their strengths and maybe some areas they need to work on are. So, but yeah, I think if we don't know kind of where our guys are at, then we're not really doing our jobs in here and using our time.
Did you watch Ohio State, Michigan? Do you look at Ohio State, trying to get a sense of
I don't actually watch a lot of competition, but that was on. We were sitting at home, and and I watched the match. It was a great match. I mean, two really good teams, a lot of talent up and down the lineups, and obviously great coaching staffs and programs. So yeah, I was able to watch that. I think they're familiar with our guys. We're familiar with their guys. I mean, the kids, you follow them growing up. There's so much film and just the sport's just, it's easier to go. You can watch 10 years of film on most kids that are competing now. So it's not really about last week or as far as preparing, because again we're trying to prepare year round for these opponents and these big matchups like this.
One more. Do you think when the schedule came out, do you think this week and next week was ones maybe the guys might have circled knowing that they had Ohio State and Iowa back to back?
I think that this group and probably every group, I mean, they certainly look forward to the big, those big matches, and I mean they've always wrestled great in the big matches. So I'm assuming I don't know if they're circling them, but they're aware that the bigger the match, the more fun it is to wrestle great.
All right, thank you, Cael.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, all right, thanks guys.